So we looked at the from SQL row method over here, but there's an issue with this method, which is you could end up coding it like this, where you are expecting a parameter to be passed in by the user, for example, or from another place in your code. For example, we have the following, which is bad age, and you can see what's happening here is this is being terminated with a semicolon, and then a drop statement is being issued to drop the student's table. So this is a bad actor could drop your table because in SQL, the semicolon marks the end of a statement. So what it is there is another method available, which is FromSqlInterpolated. And what this does is, although it looks very similar to the above method, but by using this method, you get different output. So there are two ways SQL Server executes statements, and this was done to prevent attacks like this, which is somebody passing in a drop statement by the parameter. So behind the scenes, the difference between this method and this method is the interpolated method. It actually generates the code in this fashion. So this is the SQL code. So behind the scenes, entity framework uses ADO.NET, and it will issue your query in two parts. One, which is the query with the parameter where it should be, and then it passes the parameter separately. So it then will detect the parameter type, and whereas the statement which is from row SQL will actually generate something like this, which is it will issue the command, then it will have a semicolon, and then it will issue a drop statement. So the drop statement, although still goes through, but it has no effect because it's getting passed as a parameter. So that's an important distinction to be made, and I will explain this in more detail at some other point, but you need to understand that it is better to use the from SQL interpolated method, plus you can use the string interpolation, which is the $sign here, and then you can just replace the age here, while using this method over here from SQL row, although it does allow string interpolation with the $sign, but it is unsafe because when it executes the SQL statement, it will basically append the bad age here with whatever is in this variable, which could be from the front-end user, where the user is able to type something such as, a value in a field. So I would always recommend that you use this method and do not use this method, as this one has lots of cybersecurity issues you should avoid. But you do need to be aware that both of these methods do exist, and as a developer, you should be making conscious effort to use this method over here rather than this one over here.